Hey, everybody, and welcome back to We Talk Movies. And the final part of this Harry Potter rabbit hole we went down. It's kind of sad. I was kind of enjoying talking about Harry Potter. But I said his last one was talking about Deadly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. Pretty much our favorite everything about Deadly Hallows. There's a lot to talk about, especially like the brothers. Like I really like the story of the brothers and everything else. So, but yeah. And then after this, probably be taking a break. I don't know from the lives for the next couple weeks due to holidays coming up. With the Christmas coming, and everything else, and New Year's, whatever. So probably take a couple weeks off of the lives like that, and then but we will be back probably after New Year's. So we'll probably be back with some more lives, and everything else, and talk about a lot of upcoming things coming up too. And got to pick some other topics and kind of go on everything else. So, but without further ado, get right into it. Of course, I have one of my partners in crime on here right now, and I love him, the little Irishman, as I call him, the little Irishman, because he got that red beard. It's like an Irish guy. I just can't wait for St. Patrick's Day. When we do a live for St. Patrick's Day, he's got the hat on, and everything else. He says, "Top for the morning to you, laddies." We all know love Mr. Aaron.
Hey. Yeah, I definitely look more like a leprechaun now that I kind of got a haircut and everything. Able to see more of the beard. But yeah, I actually have a picture while I was in the mall one day with like a green coat and then a hat. I'll try to see if I can find it. I definitely look like a leprechaun there minus the beard. So I'll try to
Well,
find that.
when you find it, let me know. I'll put it. I'll put it up and stuff. And everybody can see it.
Sounds good.
But sorry, guys. See if I start coughing a lot more, I actually have a sinus infection, and also I got a ear infection going on, so I'm on antibiotics right now. But I mean,
Dang,
I had a sinus infection for about 2 weeks now, and it's just I haven't been able to go to the doctor. Just kind of trying to weigh it out as much as I could,
Yeah.
and then this morning, last night my right ear was kind of messed up a little bit. I said, oh, maybe it's nothing, whatever. Well, this morning it was clogged up and it was starting to have some sharp pain. I'm like, well, I better go to the doctor, see what's going on.
Smart move. Smart move.
Yeah, so speaking of haircuts, man, I need to get a haircut. Look at this.
Oh man, I mean, you saw mine. Mine was long.
Look at that, though. I could almost cover my eyes in my
I
hair.
mean, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I like this. I like it. Edgy.
Oh, so Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. So what you think about the book? You haven't read the book yet, have you? You know that part yet, already?
No, I'm still pretty behind in the books. Sad to say, I've been having to do a little bit more at work recently, so I haven't even been really able to listen to them, except maybe when I go on drives. But we alternate kind of who drives, but I'm still trying to work through them. But I did very much enjoy the movies, part one and part two.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a new guest on tonight. A very new guest.
Oh yeah. I have a feeling I know what's going on.
Yeah, got a new guest here, and I haven't seen this. I mean, he looks familiar, but his name doesn't. It's called. I guess it's. I was bringing about Mr. Professor Reese's Lupin.
What's up, fellas?
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, how goes it? How goes it?
It goes, it's a never-ending
Cold.
ride. Yeah,
Yes,
and it's
it is.
freezing.
Yeah.
Hang on. What'd she say? Miss Shape says, "Hey, party people, and yes, you do. Yes, you do before Xmas. What do I got to do before Xmas? I got to do one more live before Xmas?
What were you guys
Feel
talking about?
better, probably. We pretty much just got on like saying that I hadn't read the books yet since I'm pretty behind.
Oh,
so,
the beginning of live. So this probably be the last live for the rest of this year because with Christmas coming, everything else, kind of give a break from the lives and stuff for the next couple weeks. We'll probably come back after New Year's. She means haircut. Yes, haircut.
That's funny.
Well, I don't know. We may do one live next week, Monday. Maybe. It talks about some
Okay.
Christmas movies. Well, yeah, what's what we'll do? Well, yeah, we'll do one more live next week, Monday. We'll do
We can just talk about random Christmas movies, really. Because
well, we'll do like a top 10 or something. That top 10 like favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds good. I know, Shape. You said that you want to talk about the story of the brothers, and that was actually something that Donnie asked me. I think maybe like last week or week before about like just kind of if they were actually brothers or if they were just three powerful wizards that had those items, right?
No, they explain that. I think explain the movie too. They're brothers, the three brothers.
Yeah. So they are brothers for real. The Peveril brothers. Yeah, that's a thing. The Peveril brothers. But what Dumbledore? Well, are we just doing Deathly Hallows 1? Or are we doing it all?
We're doing both.
Okay, so in the book at the end, when Harry gets killed and he's in limbo, and he's talking to Dumbledore's I guess ghost. He asked Dumbledore because he was telling him how at one point he came to the realization that at one point Dumbledore was the master of death. He had all three of the Hollows at one point. He had the Elder Wand since 1945. He had the stone ever since he went. Real quick tidbit: the ring. Remember, I told y'all that Merope, when she was pregnant, she left home with Voldemort. When she was pregnant, she left home. She took the locket. She didn't leave the ring. She left the ring because I don't think she even knew about it. Morphin and I cannot and Marvolo, her brother and her dad, they had it there, and Morphin and Marvolo got into it about something. I can't remember what it was, but when Voldemort became of age and he was collecting all those things to make his Horcruxes, he went back to his family home, killed his grandfather, and then used the Imperius curse on his uncle to make him think he did it. So they took him away to Azkaban where he died, and then he put the curse on the ring. So if anybody found it and touched it, they would be
Man,
cursed.
what a stand-up guy.
Right? Yeah. Like anything for because excuse me, literally Voldemort literally translates to fear of death in French. Like literally, that's what his name means. And so Dumbledore finds the ring in the summer of '96. He's had the wand since 1945, and he had the cloak in 1981. So he had all three of them. But I guess now that I think about it, not all in his possession at the same time, because he didn't get the ring till '96. He gave the cloak to Harry in 1991, and Harry had it the whole time. So I guess he didn't have all three, but at some point in his lifetime, he had all three, but not all like at the same moment.
Right.
So anyway, Harry comes to the realization that Dumbledore had all three of them at one point, and so he asks him. He basically tells him, like, if Voldemort has the Elder Wand, I can't beat him because there's no wand, stronger than it. And Dumbledore was kind of telling him that, he wasn't the true owner of the wand because Dumbledore knew what had happened between him and Malfoy. He knew that Malfoy was the owner. And so he asked him, did he think that the tale of the three brothers was real? Like, was it a real story, or was it just was it an allegory, like a placeholder, or did it happen for real? And Dumbledore told him that he thought the story in Beetle the Bard about the three brothers, he always thought that was just an allegorical story, like how the tales in the Bible are basically allegorical stories. It's not, or Plato's allegory of the cave. The people were locked they were in the cave, and all they could see was like the shadows emitting from the fire. So they didn't know what was happening, but they only could go off of that perspective of it. So he thought it was just an allegorical statement. Whereas everybody else thought that to be the true story. Dumbledore thought that they were just incredibly smart wizards who were brothers that happened to make these three things. And the three things represented what they all wanted like in life, because they met death on a bridge and death just tricked them. I mean, it's a cool story, but the fact of the matter is the Thestrals are such a unique creature that all three things that make up the hollows you can get from that one animal. So it's more likely that they crafted these things. Wood from the elder tree, thestral tail hair. There's a wand. Stone from the stomach of the thestral, just like you get the bezoar, the stone from a goat. That's what Harry put in Ron's mouth when he was choking from the poisoned cherry wine. uh, so you got the stone from the stomach of the thestral, resurrection stone. Now, how he enchanted it to make it be able to bring people back and all that, the book didn't go into that. But and then the hide, the actual literal hide of the thestral was cut off to make the cloak because they are invisible to people who haven't seen death. And I went back to the book just to look it up. So in the movie shape, we were talking about the Order of the Phoenix, they were all just riding the Thestrals like everything was cool.
Yeah.
In the book, Harry and Luna had to tell everybody like where to stand, how to climb on them, and everything because they couldn't see shit. And at a certain, a point of them flying to the Ministry, it was Luna and Harry like on the back of the Thestrals, and then the rest of the people were just floating. You know what I mean? But they were scared they were going to fall off because they didn't know like what to grab, like where are the wings, like they couldn't see anything. So the movie kind of like dropped the ball with putting that detail in there because it like the way you see it is everybody can see them at that point, but that doesn't make sense. So Dumbledore tells him, that he thought it wasn't an allegory, but it was a real life thing. That the pieces or the equipment that makes the Deathly Hallows all come from the Thestral.
Yeah, I like the story better.
But then wouldn't people have seen death be able to see, like, I guess maybe Harry or something underneath it or something? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of puts
the cloak.
Well, that's a good cloak. Yeah, that's kind of a good point because
no. Remember the invisibility cloak. We talked about this. There's an invisibility cloaks, and then there's the cloak of invisibility.
But if you cut the hide of that creature, right?
Yeah.
And make the cloak of invisibility, right? But if people see death, won't they be able to see Harry like underneath the cloak?
No, I think the only way you can see anybody there is with a minimum revelio. I think it's otherwise enchanted because that's what Dumbledore did in Chamber of Secrets when they were standing in Hagrid's house. When Hagrid was like, if anybody needed anything, they just have to follow the spiders. And he's like leaving with Cornelius Fudge and stuff. And you know how Dumbledore keeps looking in the corner and he's looking directly at them. He did a minimum revelio before he went in. So he knew that they were there, but obviously he wasn't going to give them up with the Minister and Magic standing there. As far as I know, that's the only thing I think that has really allowed anybody to see past it.
Because in a way, because my thing is, so if you see death, you can see those creatures, right? So one way you can see those creatures if you witness death.
Right.
So like I said, if you cut the hide off of one and you make a cloak out of it and you hide, like people who see death, they should be able to see like, oh, there's Harry Potter walking down the street. You know what I mean?
You would think, and
maybe, but then again, it's magic.
It's magic, yeah. So like it could be enchanted, could it be not? But here's the thing: to that point, none of the Death Eaters saw Harry. So I think we talked about it. Don't remember with the Half-Blood Prince in the book. Dumbledore told Harry get under the cloak because he heard the door open. So that Malfoy was coming up, but Malfoy. He came up, and then, of course, Bellatrix, Greyback, Raoul, Dolohov, they all came up together. Expelliarmus, Dumbledore, he becomes the Master of the Elder Wand, whatever. In the movie, he told Harry to hide. He told Harry to go get Snape. Then when he heard the door open, he told Harry to hide. Harry was under the steps because he was looking through, like, the floorboards at Dumbledore right before Snape killed him. In the book, he told him to put the invisibility cloak on, stay right there, put the cloak on. Had the cloak on because they took it with them to the Crystal Cave in case they needed it. So Harry standing underneath the cloak. Dumbledore basically hit him with Petrificus Totalis while he was under it, so he couldn't move. He could see everything that was happening, but he couldn't move because he knew Harry would jump in and try to attack Snape once he saw what Snape was about to do, right? So he like froze him where he couldn't move, so he had to watch that happen. But what I think happened is, so when Snape kills Dumbledore, Snape, Malfoy, and all the Death Eaters are standing there. They didn't see Harry, and he was right in front of them under the cloak. They didn't see him. They didn't know he was there. They didn't know Harry. They never saw Harry until Harry tried to attack Snape, down by Hagrid's hut. Also, side note, when Bellatrix sets Hagrid's hut on fire in the book, he's actually in the house.
Oh
when
shit!
It happens. In the movie, he's not even there, but in the book, he's in the house when she sets it on fire. And then Snape is like telling them to go on, like leave the boy for the Dark Lord, all this, trying to get them to to go. And then of course, like Snape turns around, he attacks Harry, and then when he leaves, Hagrid like it's like crawling out of the house, coughing and stuff, and he like had his umbrella with him, and then Harry got up and he told him it was the least he could do, and he started using like water spells to put out the fire because they had to save Fang because he was stuck in the house barking, because of the fire. And so
it makes me hate Bellatrix even more.
Right, like it's the little things like that that really like make you sit up there and be like, damn it, But I mean, to what you were saying, I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying either way that it can or can't. But I'm saying there was a group of people standing there that watched Snape murder Dumbledore. They all saw it, and then nobody saw Harry under the cloak. And in the actual canon version of the story, he's standing right in front of them. So,
But is it canon that it is a Thestral's hide?
What, the cloak?
Yeah.
Well, in the book, it's still an allegory about them meeting death.
So it was never explained that if it was from the hide of the creature, but
right, yeah. Dumbledore says that's his theory, and then everything else that everybody knows is just from that book. Like, there's nobody alive that knows the Peverell brothers to have said, like, oh yes, I saw them make this, or whatever the fuck, like, because they passed these things down to their ancestors, except Antioch, who was the one that had the wand, because like we said, he got his throat slit, and somebody stole the wand from him. That's how it got to Grigorovich. And then remember, Grindelwald stole it from Grigorovich. So Grindelwald lost it to Dumbledore. That's something I think we should talk about, is the Dumbledore brothers. But go ahead, whatever you guys want to say.
I like the story better where it was Death, who gave them the wand and the Rosetta Stone and the cloak. I think that's why, because
Michael Myers basically gave it to him,
That's not the whole story though, because it's just really intriguing because you see each brother die except for the one that didn't want power, didn't want nothing, just basically be invisible. You can't see me. And then of course Death looked all for him, couldn't find him until finally when he was about to, he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to leave this world. And it's like, and then you used to see Death like come up like behind him, was like, come on, man, let's go. Let's
see,
go.
But let me ask you though, had you not seen the cool ass animation of it in the movie, would you still think that if you'd only read it?
If I read it, probably. Because again, you put your own interpretation of what you read. So
right, but see, like the way they did the Deathly Hallows mission in the Hogwarts Legacy, I thought was even cooler than the way the little story looked in the movie. But I know what you're saying. Like, it's cool because you see how like you heard Hermione say Death was cunning. He pretended to congratulate them to give them what they wanted, and then when Antioch had the wand, Cadmus had the cloak, so Ignotus had the stone. So when he turned the stone 3 times, then his wife came back. But then immediately, well, not immediately after, but shortly thereafter, he commits suicide, and that graphic is just eerie of death, like pulling him up. The strings attached to
Yeah.
his finger,
Mhm.
and he's pulling him up and like puts him inside his cloak. Like it's definitely an interesting graphic and stuff. But I think I don't know. I think I like the fact that it's rooted in reality because it makes these things seem like, oh yeah, they are that powerful, but there had to be wizards this powerful to be able to create them at some point. If it's something that is just given by this unexplained entity, nobody really knows like the extent of it, as opposed to them being able to say like, oh well, this did this could do that, whatever. I guess the only one that we really know for real that happened to was Cadmus because he gave it to Fremont Potter. Fremont Potter gave it to James. James gave it to Dumbledore. Dumbledore had been searching through invisibility cloaks, never found the cloak of invisibility until he saw James Potter with it, asked to examine it, had it in his possession when James got killed. That's why he gave it to Harry his first Christmas at Hogwarts, which I always suspected, like when the note said like use it well, I always suspected it had to be Dumbledore or Professor McGonagall because who else like really knew his at that point we hadn't
Mhm.
met Lupin yet and Sirius Black and stuff, so who else would have known his parents?
Yeah, but you know what's funny is like when you go back to these movies, man, it's like or the books too, man. It's like Dumbledore was always like leading parts, like everything, man. Like, hey, use invisibility cloak to go to the restricted section. You know what I mean? It was like Dumbledore was always just like leading Harry the fuck away, man. Like, here, you gotta go here, 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 here. Okay, Dumbledore, I'll do it.
You think he's leading him away?
No, lead him to like the path of where he needs to go, like with the visibility cloak.
Oh,
You know what I mean? With the visibility cloak, he gave it to us. They use it well. It's like I think he already knew about everything that was going on. You know what I mean? About the Sorcerer's Stone and somebody trying to take it. Well, hey, Harry didn't want to stop it, so here you go, Harry. Here's
well,
visibility. Go to the restriction section real quick.
well,
You know what I mean?
it's less likely. Well, it's more believable. It's more believable. I'll say, if Dumbledore, it's more believable if they're trying to convict him at the Ministry for him to be like, no, Harry figured that out on his own versus yes, I laid it out for him step by
Having
step of
plausible
what to go do.
deniability.
You know what I mean? Because then, now you're both going to jail. So I think that was more of a like leaving breadcrumbs. But I think part of that too was testing Harry to see, is he really the chosen one? Because if he couldn't figure the shit out, then maybe he ain't the one. Because literally by happenstance chance, it was not Neville. Literally by Voldemort's decision to go to Godric's Hollow and not to the
And
Longbottom's house, that literally changed the course of what there's a literally a break that happens right there in the timeline, a fork in the road, butterfly effect.
and that Harry's own admission in Order of the Phoenix is like he's like, I've always had help. So like
Yeah.
yeah, prophecy can say like, oh yeah, the chosen one, but it's the person that gets like the most credit.
And
you know?
he's the chosen one because Voldemort marked him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because I often wonder if he had sent Bellatrix to go kill the Longbottoms and Barty Crouch Jr. to go kill the Potters, Voldemort's not involved. He doesn't mark anybody. He never has this problem. He gets to live forever. You see what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that one little like twinge of arrogance cost him his life in the end. And when I think about it, I think he was only like close to 70 years old when he died. Dumbledore was 115 when Snape killed him. So, like, but to that point, we gotta talk about that the Dumbledore brothers. So what I know is that they made the blood pact thing. There's like that little vial with both of their bloods in it, Grindelwald and Albus, right? Grindelwald's aunt is Bathilda Bagshot, the old lady that they thought had the sword, right? And you remember when Harry and Hermione got there, Voldemort had already got there, killed her, turned Nagini into the old lady, right? Into Bathilda Bagshot, right? That's Grindelwald's aunt. Grindelwald and Dumbledore met in Godric's Hollow at a young age. Remember that lady that was talking to Harry at Bill and Fleur's wedding at the very beginning? And she's telling them, like, oh, they moved to Godric's Hollow. And she's like, you don't mean he lived there too? And she's like, oh, the family moved there after his father killed those 3 muggles. And she's like, honestly, my boy, did you know him at all? Like, because Dumbledore, he hid so much stuff. Like, every time I think of like that lady saying that, which I can't call her name, but every time I think of her saying that line to Harry, I think of like that newspaper clipping that Harry was holding, where Dumbledore is closing the front doors to the castle. Like it those two things are like synonymous in my head. 2 different movies, 2 different scenes, but I just think of that because of how he shut everybody out. Nobody knew shit about him. Like the only people that knew anything about him were the people who were like literally the same age. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because nobody alive is old enough. Nobody else in like Harry's generation is old enough to know him, and even the people above them, like their parents, they still ain't old enough to know him when he was a kid. So, that would also mean that Grindelwald is probably just as old too. So, they made a pact. Basically, they was gonna basically enslave the Muggle. That's the pact that they came with. They met in Godric's Hollow, just like became friends, whatever. Aberforth never went outside, and then Ariana was a Obscurus, so Obscurial. So she couldn't use her powers. So y'all remember on Timmy Turner when they found out that when the fairies don't use their powers, they explode and die, basically. And like Cosmo blew up, and like Wanda had to sweep him up into like a dustpan. So kind of the same thing. You're an Obscurial when you can't use your power, but like when you get angry, like a ball of magic, just like an explosion of magic happens that basically destroys everything in its path. If you ever seen the first Fantastic Beasts, that's what happened with Credence at the end. They're like in like the underground, like with the train station, the Ministry is there and all that stuff. So that's what happened to Ariana. What happened when she was practicing magic, 3 little boys had bullied her, and then they bullied her so bad that she didn't want to ever practice magic again. So it's like she had magic overload, magic buildup. Her powers were getting stronger, but she was never using them or practicing them, so she had no way to like harness them or control them. The father, I cannot remember what his first name is, but I'm going to assume it was something with an A because everybody in the Dumbledore family name begin with an A. He went and killed them. He went and killed those 3 boys. I don't even know if they were teenagers, and he just fucking murdered them. So he's gone. The mom leaves. I can't fucking do this. She leaves. She leaves the boys in charge to take care of Ariana. Albus becomes friends. Aberforth feels like, well, you just leaving it all on me to take care of our sister. He's like, you out there trying to take over the world. We have problems at home. Anyway, Grindelwald and Dumbledore make a blood pact to never fight each other. And they're going to enslave all the Muggles. At some point, they get into an argument about this because Aberforth is like, y'all know that shit ain't right. Y'all know that's not right. So they get into this argument about it. Next thing you know, they in a 3-way duel with each other. Ariana's in the room. She get hit. Boom. Kills her. So now everybody looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like, that was you? That was you? Who did it? Nobody says anything. I've always suspected that Grindelwald killed her to make the brothers argue. Because if he could damage their relationship, then he could pull Albus away from Aberforth. And because obviously they're more powerful united against him than if he could separate them. That's what I've always
cannot stand.
There is no like evidence of that being the case. So, I don't know, but that's just always been my assumption. Anyway, she dies. Aberforth and Dumbledore and Albus, they don't talk for a long time. He comes to realization that shit ain't right. He becomes Transfiguration teacher, and then that's when he starts his quest for searching the Deathly Hallows and all this power, because he knew that Grindelwald is out there getting stronger. Me and him ain't cool no more, but he out there getting stronger. I gotta get stronger because at some point we're gonna have that confrontation, and I cannot get fucking mopped up. You know what I'm saying? And that's where he went on his quest for power. Now, the fact of the matter is the Elder Wand is so strong, it says that you really can't be beat. But I don't know how true that actually is because Dumbledore beat him. Like
Mm.
in a duel, one-on-one, no interference, just face-up duel. Dumbledore beat Grindelwald.
Do you think that kind of like is part of like maybe the legend of it that like precedes it, like that sorts out the actual skilled versus the arrogant? You know what I mean?
I think that, and I think part of it too is the fact it's gone through so many different hands. You can't add like the Elder Wand is not a wand.
Yeah,
that
you
could
can't
go
argue.
to-
Yeah, you can't argue that it's like unbeatable when it's passed through. stuff.
And the fact that the matter is it keeps getting passed through because every previous owner gets killed.
Mhm.
Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, so it's hard to sit up there because there at some point there's no chain of people to go back to and say, oh, wait, so when you had it, like where did the magic cap out for you? You couldn't do this, but you could do this. Like, where did it limit you on what you could and couldn't do? It doesn't, there is no story for that. You can't go anywhere with that. You know what I mean? Just for the simple
Mhm.
fact of so many people, excuse me, so many people have had it.
Well, hey, I want to ask you guys something. So, is there a difference in the book, right, between Voldemort and Grindelwald? When Voldemort visits Grindelwald in the prison,
he doesn't kill him. He doesn't kill him.
Donnie,
But I thought there was two different things where Grindelwald said you'll never find it, and then like in the movie he says it lies with him.
Yep.
But in the book it says I will never tell you where it's at.
Yep. That's an oversight by a lot of people. Yeah. Good catch. Yeah, because that always irked me too. Like because he comes flying into the window in Azkaban. And Grindelwald is just sitting there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I knew you would come one day, Tom. But you should know that I no longer have what you seek. Tell me, Grindelwald. Tell me where it is. And he just immediately told him, like, the Elder Wand, it lies with him, buried in the earth. Dumbledore. And if you take that scene, freeze frame it, slow it down, like when. There's like a little flashback. It shows Dumbledore doing a bunch of magic with it, right? And then that's when Voldemort is thinking, like, fuck, I fought him with the wand. That's probably why I couldn't beat him at the Ministry. He's having that thought. And then Grindelwald is looking at him and he's like, Dumbledore. And then if you look at it like slowly, you can see him get like the smile on his face right before he turns back into that black smoke when he goes back out of the window. It's like, but it happens so quick, you can't see it like real time, when he's going out. Here's the thing, though. I don't know how he knew where the grave was, because Dumbledore's grave was supposed to be some secluded place where nobody knew where it was to keep shit like that from happening. Because they had the funeral at the school, and then they buried him elsewhere. I don't know if that was Aberforth's decision or Harry's decision.
Well, I mean, if he had that construct, somebody had to know where he was buried, and he probably could have used any means of the Cruciatus Curse to get the information, or he could have just asked Snape, hey, where is he buried? Oh, it's most likely here. Something like that.
It's not impossible, but because I'm not saying that Snape wouldn't know, still working there, because Snape got, promoted to the headmaster of the school. But Shape, you are right. Now, the reason Grindelwald didn't give him up, though, in the book is because he came...
Say hi.
Baby Shapes.
You say hi's? You're supposed to be sleeping. Hey, be nice.
You say hi.
Hold on. One.
Be nice.
Say hi's. Say hi's.
Hi, Baby Shape.
Man, she give you like a death stare.
Come
Yeah,
on.
because I don't look like the other people on screen.
I think she's a dog.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Donnie?
I said because I don't look like the other people on screen. She's like, "What's wrong with him?"
No, that's not why.
Yeah, because your brother's
My
black.
brother's mixed.
That's not the same.
No, he favors his daddy more than he does my mama.
Yeah, he looks like you.
He does look like you. You got the big nose and everything.
Yeah, I don't have one. Thank you though.
You do too.
No, I don't.
I got it too. So
Oh man.
She didn't want you to interrupt her dog time.
no, she didn't. All right, let's go.
You got a doggy there? No, the dog. No dog.
Abracadabra, doggy's going. Sorry, baby sheep.
Right, good night. Say good night. Oh my, okay, we'll see you later. Love you. Good night.
Let's go.
It went
should've
from
put-
bye to
You should have pulled Terry out of the hat.
like it was like a Mortal Kombat like challenge. Like
Yo.
that's funny.
They be so excessive on Mortal Kombat, but
But-
yeah.
Okay, so in the book, he doesn't tell Grindelwald, he don't tell Voldemort nothing. But is Voldemort killing them there or no?
No, he had more respect for him than to just kill him. Even in the movie, he doesn't kill him. I mistakenly said he killed it. He killed Grigorovich. Remember, Grigorovich is the old man with the gray hair. That's like he's asking him like, where is it? Where is it? You know, and he's like, I don't have it. He was like, he took it in the night, like a thief took it, is what he was telling Voldemort. You know, he's like, I swear. You know, he's like, I believe you. And then he killed him, right? Remember, because the guy was laying on the ground. There was a bunch of wand boxes around him that he was laying on, and he was like kind of like curling up right before Voldemort killed him. That was Grigorovich, who I think was doing wand lore before Ollivander, or you know, probably at the same time, because Mr. Ollivander's pretty old too. But yeah, he doesn't kill him. I always thought that was weird though, that he just instantly gave him up, because what happened to
what happened to Ollivander?
what do you mean?
Did he die?
He didn't die like over the course of the 7 like books. No. Remember, he was at Malfoy Manor.
We never seen him after when where Voldemort took him. You never see him after everything else. You don't see him after that.
Yeah, after the Shell Cottage thing, when Dobby comes and saves them and stuff. Yeah, you don't see him after that. But it's possible maybe he died from, you know, injuries from being tortured so much, because Voldemort was torturing him repeatedly because he thought he was holding out on him about the Elder Wand. When Ollivander had never, in the book, he had never seen the Elder Wand in person. He only knew Grigorovich had it, because the Elder Wand was called the Death Stick. It was never called the Elder Wand. I don't even know, what are they called? I don't know, wand, like he always said those who study wand lore, not wandologist. It's not the right word. I don't know what the actual technical term is, but he said that those of us who always have studied wand lore, you know, we know the wand chooses the wizard, all that stuff. But he had never seen the Elder Wand or the Death Stick in person. But because you remember when he told Harry, when Harry, you know, he asked him about the Deathly Hallows and stuff, he was like, well, there's rumors that there are 3 of them, you know, because to him, he still was like, you know, it's just rumor, it's just hearsay. Now, I don't know if he coerced with Grigorovich before, you know, about the wand, because Grigorovich has seen it in person, but Ollivander never did. He just suspected that it was out there. But that could be because he knew, you know, Grigorovich. You're right, though. Yeah, we don't see him afterwards. But as much as he got tortured at Malfoy Manor, it's a possibility that he died there at the Shell Cottage. I mean, we don't really know. He was too weak to like get up and leave on his own power or anything. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, and you guys ever noticed when so when Professor McGonagall, when Harry like confronts Snape, right? It's like, how dare you stood where he stood, you know? And when McGonagall was attacking Snape,
he knocks the Carrows down with the
he knocks he knocks the other people down with a spell, and you see him take the wands.
He grabs the wand, and he flies out the window.
You think McGonagall noticed that and stop attacking Snape?
I don't No, because I think she still thought that he was like down with the
Mhm.
Death Eaters. You know, like this was the Death Eaters' plan: infiltrate Hogwarts just like they did the Ministry. Y'all remember at Bill and Fleur's wedding, Kingsley sent that message that was like, "The Minister of Magic is dead, the Ministry
They're
has
coming.
fallen." It was that blue ball that was just
Yeah.
talking like that. Every time I think of that scene, I think of the old man that was talking to Harry. Like he didn't even say, like he was like, "Goodbye, Mr. Potter." Like he didn't even finish his sentence, and he just separated out that bitch. He was not going. So, but
He didn't live that long to
like,
have it come to an end there.
Elphius
He has a
Dodge,
retirement plan.
yeah, he really was not like he's like Harry Potter is not enough to make me stay here and risk death. But I know what you're saying. I wonder if I think that scene was just just for the film. 'Cause a lot of
Well,
people
because when you see McGonagall, she's about to do her spell, but then she noticed it. She like kind of stopped. She
Well-
stopped attacking Snape.
Well, I thought she stopped because she thought he was running away from the fight. So I thought that's why she stopped. Not that she noticed that he had deflected it back to the Carrows, because the Carrows are the twins who make the 7th years do the Cruciatus Curse on the 1st years in Defense Against the Dark Arts classes, which is fucked up. Like that's complete bullshit, man. Like, but it's a good detail, but I think at that point Snape didn't really know what to do. You know what I mean? Because if he tells her, "Oh, me and Dumbledore had this plan the whole time," is she
Right.
gonna believe that? You know? Because here's a dude that she didn't let her guard down, got to know he's on the staff, he's been with us all this time. Because there ain't no telling how long he had a job at Hogwarts before Harry came along. That wasn't his first year there when Harry got there, obviously. So he'd
Yeah.
been there before 91. We didn't let our guard down, got to know this dude and all that. And now and then he kills our headmaster. So he gonna tell me this, I'm supposed to believe it? I think that's kind of why Snape was, trying to get the memories to Harry, because he knew Harry was going to understand everything that he saw. You know what I mean? If Ron and Hermione watch it, they ain't gonna understand the shit between Lily and Snape. And
If
you know-
he did tell her in that moment, Harry may have come to her defense, maybe. But
who, Professor McGonagall?
yeah,
I think he did tell her afterwards. You know what I mean? Because like once Harry saw all the mentions, it cleared. It cleared Snape's whole name. His whole reputation was cleared. Like, and
must be nice.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Snape is such a confusing character. He's probably a lot of people will probably say Umbridge or somebody like that, but well, not even Umbridge, because Snape to me has to be the most polarizing character, because there are people who look at him as good and there's people who look at him as bad. And like he did help the Order. He put a fake sword in Bellatrix's vault. He hid the real sword in the Forest of Dean, knowing that that's where Hermione used to go. And so okay, boom. At some point they're gonna go there. Boom. He led him there with the dough. He did a lot of stuff to help them. He really did help them. But at the same time, when the Death Eaters was going and killing random people and kidnapping kids so Greyback could eat them, you didn't say a fucking word. You just sat there and let it happen. Even when, what's the teacher? Damn it, I can't think of her name. The teacher that they killed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had her all like contorted and stuff, and she was crying to Snape, and he just sat there and just watched her. I mean, not that he was going to jump up and fight 40 Death Eaters or whatever, but I'm just saying, like,
Well, he had to. It was no choice. It was Dumbledore's, choice. Whatever. He had to make sure that no matter what, Harry had to be the one to defeat Voldemort. That's what it was all about.
And that's what I can't stand people talking about Voldemort. I mean, Dumbledore is the villain. Like, I can't, like, people kill me with that. I'm like, he was the villain and all he did was set Harry up to get killed and all this. He knew the prophecy first. Like, do you really think that Dumbledore, in all of his wisdom and power, that if he could have been the one to kill Voldemort, that he wouldn't have just did it himself? Why would he put an 11-year-old child in that? You say, oh, well, he opened the school or where there was a giant snake running around. There's giant spiders running around, all that kind of stuff. First of all, dark forest is forbidden to the kids, so if they out there, you at your own risk. Sorry, player. You know,
I still
like,
don't think that that's a good enough reasoning. Like the school has that.
you are
level
not
of-
supposed to be outside the school when it's dark.
The school can have a forest field. Put that shit over the forest. That's my opinion.
No, I mean there's a plot hole there anyway. Aragog went in the forest by himself, came back with 10 million spiders. How the fuck? Anyway, I'm saying
He talks about it in the book that he found a wife.
right. But when did she come to the forest that's on school grounds? Because he never said that he left the Hogwarts grounds and then came back.
There could have been a spider in the Forbidden Forest. We don't know.
But then
True.
wouldn't Hagrid have had both of them?
Maybe not. Maybe she was like his size were right, and then when they mated, right, and then all of a sudden like the other spiders ate her. Like she gave her body like some spiders do that when they give birth. They let the
Spiders are weird. Yeah,
eat
I'm
the
not
parents.
I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I do.
Well, let's look at the Black Widow. Well, when the Black Widow bitch
They bite the head off
she kills the goddamn husband. It's like,
But doesn't at some point Aragog said he came to the forest alone? Like at some point he says that.
yeah, but I mean he went to the forest alone, but he never said that. Hey, I just shagged with some other spider that was already in the forest.
So okay, did you just say shag like it's 1969?
I sure did.
Just checking. So you telling me that this other big ass Acromantula came to the dark forest on the school grounds? Nobody saw it while Hagrid was in Azkaban.
What if she didn't
It
start
might
out that
be the
way?
same size as
because-
Aragog. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have started off small because Aragog was also small. He was kept in that.
No, I know. No, I got that part. He was like small enough for Hagrid to like carry him around, like conceal him in the school
Right.
and everything. I got
That's
that
a whole
part.
ass Forbidden Forest.
But I'm saying, I just don't think Hagrid would have not been ignorant enough to have the pair.
I don't think it's ignorance, but I think that like
You don't think it's ignorant? Did you heard what happened with Norbert and Ron in the first book? You don't think that's ignorance at all?
I didn't say that part.
I'm
I
just
said
saying,
when
like,
it comes to the Acromantula, like, yeah, Hagrid is obsessed with creatures. He may have wanted to have more than one, but like I said, it's a whole forest. What's the likelihood that he's going to find a pair or wasn't given a pair or something like that? Like,
I
there's
need
so many
more.
variables.
I need more information. That's all I'm saying. I need more information. That shit. It sound. He said I came to the forest alone. You know. And when did you meet the wife? Like when did that happen? Because obviously, and then he had this one wife. And don't get me wrong. Like I've seen. What's the movie with Jeff Daniels?
Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia. I've seen the shit in the game. Remember, I was about to walk up on it, and you were like, "Those are spiders," and I was like, "No, take the controller." Like that white, like pulsating looking cocoon looking shit. Like, so you telling me, and that's not to say that they can't have a gaggle at a time, but 2 Acromantulas had a forest full. I just don't believe it.
It's also as Professor Crow said, magic.
Top five moments. What is this magic?
Or maybe
He was older than shit.
He was falling apart and still gets told, like, you better die for the cause. He's like, okay, I guess.
Wait. But what's that? What? But get like how, like in Jurassic Park, right? Like the frogs, they use frog DNA, and the frogs can change themselves from male to female
Lord.
in a single sex environment. Why was that? Like in Godzilla?
Nature finds a way. Yeah.
Well, no. Like in Godzilla, right? The 2001 that came out of America.
It's sexual. Like
who knows? That could
So to me, that's the most likely answer for me personally. That one right there is the most likely because I thought about that. Now because it's creeping me out, let's stop talking about spiders. But I think that Hagrid was, a little ignorant when it came to the creatures. Not necessarily ignorant and he didn't know what they were, but ignorant in the sense of like, oh, that's a hippogriff. Let's go pet it.
I think he let his fascination with him kind of cloud his judgment.
Like, I mean, it in my mind, there's just certain things like, and I wonder what his reaction was, because in the movies it would have been nice to see him do more magic. You know what I mean? We didn't get to see him do magic except for what he did to Dudley and when he tapped the wall to go into Diagon Alley.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
never
only
even
time
got
we
to
saw it.
see him like accelerate the boat, like how he did in one of the first couple of chapters in the first
Oh yeah.
book. Like that could have been a simple little moment between him and Harry.
Speaking of which, out of the first 5, because you don't see it in 6, and then they don't go to school their 7th year. Are they still considered graduates of Hogwarts? Because they didn't technically graduate. They never went back. Question about that is with it being their 7th year, them not going back. You have the 6th year. We don't see what happens. But between the Sorcerer's Stone all the way to Order of the Phoenix, what is you guys' favorite way that they get to the castle?
Favorite way they get to the castle.
Now, mind you, we don't see how the kids get to the castle in Chamber. We don't see that, but so out of Sorcerer's Stone, Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, like, what's your favorite way that they get to the castle? Because the ways are different in each movie, right? But only when you are in that year do you get that entrance to the school. Like, so only the first years go across the Black Lake in the boats. No other, the second years, they don't get to do that.
Makes sense logistically. So
there's no overcrowding.
So
I had chariots. I had a chariot one with the invisible creatures.
That was Order. Yeah. Yeah, because in I guess now.
Yeah, I'd probably want to go with that.
Good.
Like if I had to be a student at Hogwarts, I wouldn't go across the Black Lake. No, sir. Not at all. I mean, I wouldn't have a choice, but
I think I know what you're saying. But the well, what's that? Pulling the carriage? Nothing. They're pulling the carriage like they always do. And he's like, no, it's not. Yeah, and then Luna just pops up, and I love how the music changes, like this quirky kind of music.
Yeah.
And she's got the magazine upside down, and she's like, "You're not going insane. Like, I can see it too." Like, but I guess you don't see it in Prisoner of Azkaban either, because Harry was knocked out on the train.
Yeah,
when he wakes up, it cuts to the double toil and trouble. There is no
right.
No, they were in carriages. There's like it's like intercut with they're singing double toil and trouble, and you see carriage like wheels spinning through the mud, and like because it's raining really hard.
Okay, yeah,
you do see that. I don't know if Thestros was pulling the carriages in that instance, but maybe that's what Hermione meant by it's pulling itself like it always does. Then in Order of the Phoenix, I mean, Goblet of Fire, you gotta admit it was pretty fucking sharp how the other schools came, Beauxbaton and the Durmstrang boys, like what you thought was like a submarine, that whole fucking ship came up out of the water. That was pretty dope. And then when they came flying in the carriage with the unicorns, the girls from Beauxbaton, like, and shout out to Michael Gambon for saying Beauxbatons. Like, I love the fact that he didn't know how to pronounce that shit. And even their entrances into the school, the way that they came in, the way the girls came in, and all the guys were just like, like when the girls came in, when we go back and watch that scene, look at Hermione and Ginny. They like, like.
Well, I always like when fucking when the boys came in and fucking Victor Crumb busted, like, he's like,
oh yeah.
He walks through the fucking door like he's like on a mission. Like, God damn, dude.
And Ron is like, Ron's like, it's him.
Yeah. Everybody else is second fiddle to Victor Crumb. He actually gets to walk rather than like the choreography. Like, dance dude is like, you better not fuck up this entrance, or I swear to God.
Which we know that's just plot armor to show that he was the one that was going to win. I mean, like for that school, he was going to be the representative. Right. But like I love that he doesn't even talk in the movie. Like, I mean, he says a couple things to Hermione, and then the only other shit we hear him say is, "This tent is for champions and friends," and that's it. Like, you don't say shit else. Like, I can't say though. When Goblet of Fire came out, that shit was mad creepy when he was in the maze and his eyes was all white, and he like when he turned to Harry because he heard the twig break. Like, oh, that was creepy. But that's the telltale sign that he was under the Imperious Curse. Like, goes to show you just how strong Barty Crouch Jr. actually is to control a motherfucker from outside the maze. You know how on the game we be doing it, they got to be right up on you for it to hit, you know, and work. So this actually
in range, yeah.
It shows you like how powerful he was to be able to control somebody that far.
I want to ask this question, right? So, so when Voldemort supposedly kills Harry Potter,
yeah,
in the Forbidden Forest, right?
Deathly Hallows, right? We're talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when they're holding Harry, when Hagrid's holding Harry in his arms, right?
Yeah.
And when Harry reveals himself that he's still alive, yeah. If I was all Death Eaters, I'd be like, "Fuck this! This guy is fucking immortal." You try to kill him twice with the goddamn fucking abracadabra curse, and he still didn't go down. We're done with this shit. You know what I mean? I would have totally said that.
I mean, that's not really a question, but yeah.
I was gonna say if the question was, were we Death Eaters and we saw that? I mean, probably.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, this is a lost cause.
I just read the other day that J.K. Rowling said that she had this image in her head of Hagrid carrying Harry's body out of the forest, and that's the only reason that he didn't die through the rest of the series was because she needed him to be the one that carried his body out of the forest, so everybody would think he was dead. Because you remember when Ginny was like, "Neville, who's that Hagrid's holding?" You know, and she was like, "No," and Voldemort, "Silence, silly girl!" Like. He immediately want to hear that.
He doesn't want anybody to talk unless it's him. That's a fact.
Real shit, dude. Like every time somebody had something to say, silence. Like he just
no. I mean, but my thing is like even after like Harry like popped out of fucking Voldemort or Hagrid's arms, all the Death Eaters, some of the Death Eaters like they took off. Like fuck.
Yeah. Some of them took off. Yeah,
they took off. But some are still fighting. I'd be like. Why are we fighting? You hit the kid with the fucking Avada Kedavra. He's still fucking walking. What are you doing?
I think some of them were just confused. Like, I mean, I think a lot of them, Voldemort had promised basically, not necessarily immortality, but he basically promised them, like, whatever their heart's desire was. It's like they were looking in the mirror of Erised. It's basically, that's what he promised them. Like, whatever the fuck they wanted, them fighting on his side could help. That's why they went to recruit the giants. That's why they recruited werewolves. That's why they tried to get the acromantulas. But them motherfuckers didn't understand. They just came out and started boxing whoever, right? You know, but it's like his whole thing was, I know they have an army, but if I can outnumber them in followers, they can't stop me. Because one of the best scenes is in, I think it's part 2, has to be part 2, when they're all putting up the big shield over the castle. Great fucking scene, right? And they're all put, also, I love to, we can't keep who out indefinitely. I know, but that doesn't mean we can't delay him. And his name is Voldemort, Phyllis. You might as well use it. He's going to try to kill you either way. And then they start putting up all the shields and stuff. You even see Professor Slughorn standing there. You know he's completely scared. He drank a bottle of liquid luck right before he did it. Small details you might not have noticed. He drinks a bottle of liquid luck right before he did put the shield up. And so, as talking about Voldemort, just that part alone of when he's standing there on the cliff, like it's so fucking dark you can't see shit, but you see all those people standing up there on that cliff and they're just parted so he can walk through. And he walks up and he's just like, they never learn. Like, and he's just watching them like build the shield. And then it comes back to that scene later on, and he's just like, begin. And they just, but I'm saying the sheer number of people he had behind him to fight. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, what's dude's name? Stan Shunpike. You know what I mean? The Snatchers who were in the forest that caught them and took them to Malfoy Manor. They were on that side. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because remember one of the Snatchers, the one who like saw Hermione, and he was like, "Well, don't just hang about, snatch him." When they were chasing Harry, Ron, and Hermione, after they left Xenophilius Lovegood, that guy, I don't remember what his name is. I'm sure it's in the book, but I don't remember what it was in the movie. If it was even the same character, just a random Snatcher. But remember, they were running, and he ran. They ran into the force field, and they just got like deleted.
Yeah,
And he
that was
stopped.
dope.
And he stopped, you know what I mean? And then Neville, like, yeah, like, what's up?
You
Like,
into his army.
and then the fact that every time I hear that, I just want to be like the Kiss Army, but that's a different movie. But the fact of the matter is, once they started like just Voldemort didn't even hit the shield yet, and you saw how they were peeling it back, and then just one strike. You saw that fucking hole he put in it. It was over. Like I'm saying, I think that
after they showed him Horcruxes, man, he's like ah! Like,
yeah,
oh,
like you. But it's because he could feel that. You know,
Mhm.
parts of him were, you know, parts of his soul were getting murdered. Like Shake, let me
Oh.
stab you multiple times and see if you react. I mean, you probably won't because you know, like you stab you and
Shake.
the knife would bend. But I'm saying I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it, and too probably the fact that he was just pissed off because you remember when he found out at the is that at the beginning of, they go to Gringotts to Deathly Hallows Part 2, right? That's Part 2, right?
I think
yes,
so.
dragon.
Because
Yeah.
right
Yep.
when they escape on the dragon. Okay, and they fall in the water, and then Harry has like him and Voldemort's minds connect,
Vision, yeah.
and Voldemort sees that they've been there, knows what they took, and then he sees Rowena Ravenclaw, and he sees the flag, and then you know Harry's telling them like he
couldn't help
knows
it.
he knows where hunting Horcruxes, you know, all that stuff. And she's like, Harry, you can't let him in, you know. And he's like, I can't help it all the time, you know. But then he's like, no, we have to plan, we have to wait. No, when have any of our plans actually worked? We plan, we get there, all hell breaks loose. And then as soon as it cut from that scene, all you saw was Voldemort just slaughtering people left and right, like so much to the fact that he was walking through a big ass puddle of blood. Remember? And
Yep.
Nagini was slithering next to him, and he was like, the boy has discovered our secret. You, my friend, must stay very close. And then he disapparated with her, still blood all over his feet and everything. And then that's when it cut to Griphook holding the sword, and then he saw it disappear. And the one thing I always wondered about that was, are the goblins sentient to dark magic? Because he told them, he basically told them, you know, he was like, "Are there, there's a whole manner of curious objects in Gringotts," and Harry was like, "In Madame Lestrange's vault as well," and he was like, "Perhaps," right? That was yes, right? Like yes, and he was like, we need to get into one of the vaults in Gringotts. This is impossible alone. Yes, but with you, no. You know, he was basically asked like, well, what do you have that I would want? I have gold. I have no interest in gold. Then what? That is my prize. And what I didn't understand is, why did he want the sword if the sword can appear to anybody? You won't always have it in your possession. Like, you know what I mean? If you had it and you framed it, it still wouldn't be there all the time, because somebody who is a Gryffindor in dire need of it would get it. Also, if only Gryffindors can get it, how does Snape get it? That's a plot hole. That is a plot hole, because like, oh yeah, Sirius should have been in Slytherin because his whole family was in Slytherin or whatever. You know, that's the case. Yeah, you can say that about a lot. Harry should have been in Slytherin. You can say that about a lot of characters. But the fact is, they weren't in that house. Snape was in Slytherin. Period. How the fuck did he get the Gryffindor? If Voldemort couldn't get it, why could he get it?
But wait, though, but if only a Gryffindor is dire need. But if Dumbledore still had the sword in his possession, he was able to take the sword and hide it in there and gave the fake one to them. That's the thing, though, because only if a Gryffindor is in dire need, and if Dumbledore still had the sword even after he died, and Snape took it and hid it, I mean, that's the only way you could be able to touch or even have the sword in your possession. You know what I mean?
No, what I'm saying is if he went into the headmaster's office and it was still there and had been sitting there since the Chamber of Secrets, that's one thing because he picked it up and took it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, again, as we haven't heard anything about any other Gryffindor in dire need of the sword, after the Chamber of Secrets.
Until Neville got it.
Yeah, until Neville needed it.
But the thing, that's what I'm saying. So if Snape walked in the office and just picked it up and physically took it to the Forest of Dean, okay, that fixes that problem. But the way it was always described is that once it was used, it disappeared again. It's almost like, remember how Voldemort's spirit was talking to Harry in the chamber, and he's like, "Tom, we have to go. There's a basilisk," and he's like, "It won't come until it's called." Like, it was kind of like that. Like the way the sword was described is that it will only appear when you actually like need it, but other than that, it disappears. Now I don't know if there was like a mainstay space that it would go to. It's not like it was in the Gryffindor common room, because the first time Harry ever saw it was when it showed up in the hat. That was the second year, so it's not like it was in the Gryffindor common room, like plastered on the wall or anything. But the thing is, you say we don't know of any other Gryffindor that was in dire need of having it. We don't know of one. That don't mean there was one. Number one. Number two, what's to say that when he put it in the ice that it didn't move? Like, we don't know if another Gryffindor, if it went to another Gryffindor at all, because it's obvious that you don't necessarily need the hat for it to show up. I mean, it appears in the hat, but I'm saying, like, no, don't just me. Like, I'm breaking through one of your points, like you always do mine. Don't just me.
How do you really feel?
I just told you. So, I'm saying the fact is, if the sword had just appeared to Snape, that's what my problem is. That's why I was saying there's a plot hole. If the Snape, if the sword wasn't in his office when he took over as headmaster, or whatever, and then it appeared to him for him to then put it in the water, that's what my question is. How did he then get it? Like, because I guess maybe anybody can wield it for the moment, but then when it's needed, it'll just disappear. Because Griphook obviously isn't a Gryffindor, and he's holding it, so it's not it's not like it's unwieldable, like it's gonna burn your hand or anything like that if you're holding it. But that's something that it would have been nice to just have an answer if that had been in the flashback, and I think it might actually be in the Deathly Hallows, like when Harry is. Because there's a whole chapter dedicated to the tears that he put in that little vial for Harry to go look at. There's a whole chapter of just that, the memories, everything from him first meeting Lily, all the way up to killing Dumbledore, all the way up to Voldemort killing him. Like, because he shows Harry the conversation him and Voldemort had just had about the wand. Because remember, he's telling him, like, you performed extraordinary magic with this wand, in the last few hours alone, and Voldemort still don't believe him. You killed Snape, and you killed Dumbledore, and he's like, only I can live forever. And I remember my grandma was like, who the fuck does he think he is? Like, because it's like he really took. Oh, you've been a good and faithful servant, Snape. But only I can live forever. Nagini, kill him. Basically, like that's like.
Roger, he slit his throat first, like
he did, yeah. He did slit his throat, which was like the Nagini shit was overkill.
Look at that. God damn, look at that separation. Oh shit. God damn.
You might want to get that fixed. So I think the biggest thing that I had like an issue with though in the Deathly Hallows, there's a lot of stuff that's changed, and just to end it off is the biggest problem I had was with Harry breaking the wand and throwing it over the bridge. Like,
Mhm.
I abhor that fucking scene. Just like Shape doesn't like the fact that they fought in that like courtyard area
Yeah, I'd rather be in the
because
book where everybody sees.
they were in the Great Hall. Yeah. And what happened was at the end, the very end, they're having that moment, and Harry Expelliarmus, because he still had that wand that Ron had gave him back when they were in the tent before they went to Xenophilius Lovegood. Remember, because what happened was the reason his wand got broke, which you never see in the movie, is when they went to Godric's Hollow and they met with Bathilda Bagshot, Nagini. When she turned back, you know how Hermione goes into one room and she sees the blood and the flies, and she screams out,
Mhm.
"Harry!" And then by that time, Nagini has turned back into herself. What happens is in the book, Voldemort shows up at that moment, and him and Harry like start fighting. They start dueling. Hermione gets back to him, like stuns the snake, gets away for a second, and then she gets to Harry, and then Nagini comes and is like biting at them, and Harry put his hand up and she bit the wand in half. That's what she was going for, was the wand. She bit the wand in half, broke it, and then when Harry grabbed Hermione's hand, they separated and he took it with him. So when he landed, he knew it was broken already. Not like in the movie, he was like, "Where's my wand, Hermione?" And she's like, "I tried mending it." Whatever. That didn't happen like that. It got broken because Nagini bit it in half, which is what Voldemort wanted her to do. His plan was kill the boy at the same place that I killed his parents, A, and B, if Nagini bites the wand in half, he can't fight me. I'm just gonna be able to kill him, right? So the whole thing with the Elder Wand, when they're having their fight at the end, y'all remember he's sitting there talking to Ron, and Ron is like, he's like, "Oh, you need a wand, don't you?" And he was like, "I took it off a Snatcher. He was part troll by the smell of him." He was like, "It's nothing special, black, a hawthorn, 10 inches, nothing special." And remember Harry, he took the wand and he like hit that flame that was in that little jar, and that big ass fire happened. And that's when Hermione came in and was like, "What's going on?" Yeah. So he still had that wand at the end. The room of requirement shit with when the room of requirement shit happened with Malfoy, he was asking Malfoy, like, you knew it was me, but you didn't say anything. Like that whole thing. He still had the Snatcher's wand. So fast forward back to the fight with Voldemort in the Great Hall. Like he said, everybody is sitting around, they're watching this last like confrontation because they know this is gonna be it. Somehow the Malfoys have avoided persecution. And one thing that saved Harry that people don't talk about, other than Dumbledore's wisdom, is the love of a mother saved him
Narcissa.
all the time. Narcissa Malfoy, Molly Weasley, and his mom. Those three women saved him plenty of times. The fact Narcissa Malfoy was such a good legitimens that Voldemort couldn't even read her mind. Because he tried to, couldn't, and he just had to take her word for it that Harry was dead. So they get to that final confrontation. Expelliarmus, Avada Kedavra. The Elder Wand actually like burned the palm of his hand, and then it started to fly through the air this way, and then Harry catches it. When he catches it, it then shoots the killing curse at the target, which is Voldemort. At this point, Neville had been cut the head off of Nagini. He been killed Nagini. Like how they're fighting, and then he cuts the head off Nagini, and like the wands like they disconnect for a minute in the movie. I mean, he had been cut the head off Nagini. I think before they ever even found out that Harry was dead, he had already killed Nagini. I think that had already happened in the book. So Voldemort falls, straight dead, on the floor of the Great Hall. And then, Aaron, your favorite character, Peeves the Poltergeist. He pulls up to talk shit about Voldemort. And I remember this vividly because he pulled up because I remember vividly he said he was singing like some kind of song. And I don't remember all of it, but I do remember this line for whatever reason. He was saying that everything is okay now that Voldy's gone moldy. That I do remember that line for whatever reason. I read that book in 6 days. It came out July 10th, 2007. July 16th, I was done with that book in 7th grade. And I would have been done sooner, but I went back and read the limbo part twice because I didn't understand what was happening. So I reread that whole chapter and then finished it that night, whatever. I know the dates because on the inside flap of the book, I have it written, the date that I started, date ended, like, because I wanted to, I had to know what happened, right? But anyway, at the end of the fighting and all that stuff, he has the Elder Wand. He goes to his Phoenix Tail Feather Wand, and he Reparo, and it fixes his wand. That's how powerful the Elder Wand is. It fixes his original wand back to the way it was, and then because Ron and Hermione are like, "What are you gonna do with the Elder Wand?" Like, because you remember in the movie, he's like, "That's the Elder Wand. Like, we'd be unstoppable." And Hermione's like, "What do you mean we?" You know, and then that's when Harry broke it and threw it off the bridge. And that's not to say that somebody couldn't find pieces of it. Like, it's the Elder Wand. So you can imagine that if Hagrid could still do little bits of magic with just a regular wand in the umbrella, imagine what somebody could do if they found the pieces of the Elder Wand and put it in like a everyday object like that.
that could start a whole other like legend of the 3 pieces of the magical wand, you know.
Wait, but did the book Harry like took it and put it back with Dumbledore?
Yeah, I was getting to that. He fixed his wand because he told them that he liked his wand better. It felt better to him. He liked his wand better. And then they went to Dumbledore's tomb and he used the Elder Wand to fix the marble that Voldemort had cracked going into it. And then he put the Elder Wand. Because remember, Dumbledore's hands were like this, holding it, you know, in the coffin. And you know, he put the wand back in his hands, and then they closed it. And what's cool about that, or I just guess was a cool detail, him putting the wand back almost guarantees that nobody else will ever get it, because Harry's the master of it. They never said what does the wand's allegiance do if the owner dies of natural causes. You know what I mean? They never said what happened to that. It'll change, like if you kill somebody, maybe, or if you defeat them. It's mostly if you defeat them. So if nobody ever defeats Harry again in a regular wand duel, then he'll be the owner of the Elder Wand until he dies. Then when he dies, does it just have no allegiance? So whoever finds it, it automatically becomes theirs? Or like
rogue wand.
Like what happens? But he put it back in Dumbledore's tomb.
Well, honestly, I think that no matter what, if Harry's, you know, is basically the master of the Elder Wand, and Harry dies of natural causes, the wand will always be allegiance to Harry, and no matter what, even though, like I said, Voldemort used it to, you know, still use everything else. But I think over time, what's going to happen is if they get the wand from Dumbledore, and any wizard that uses it is going to start to basically deteriorate even more, like crack and everything else, because it is not his true master. Like so in a way, it's like able to have the Elder Wand, you have to beat that person in a duel or anything else, or whatever it is.
That's what it said, yeah. But
if it never happens, then that wand is no longer.
But I have a question though for you, real quick. How do you beat somebody with a wand that's unbeatable?
Gang up on him.
No, I mean, well, yeah, we can't. But I mean, when it comes to Harry, I mean, he still has his wand.
I was I was waiting for you to say so because I was really finna hit you with your stunned silence is very reassuring.
No, but Harry's got his own wand. But again,
no.
I'm talking. Wait, if you look at it, right? Honestly, who the hell is gonna want to fight Harry Potter in a fucking duel? It's okay, dude. You get hit with a Avada Kedavra twice and fucking live. You kill fucking Voldemort. We ain't fucking.
If he got right, yeah. But if he got hit with it that third time, then he's out of there. Number one. Number two, I wasn't talking about Harry having it. I'm talking about how did Dumbledore with a regular wand beat Grindelwald with the Elder Wand? That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think Shape was up in a way like while we talked about like, oh yeah, this is like the greatest wand, but like it has a reputation.
You didn't hear that part?
I don't know if you did.
Hear that part? Shape. We was talking about that.
I might have been over here.
So you know the Elder Wand. so you know the other one. Its reputation is that it's an unbeatable wand, whatever.
Yeah.
But Grindelwald had it because he stole it from Gregorovich's shop when he was 17. He had it all the way up to whatever age he was in 1945 when Dumbledore beat him in a duel face up with his regular wand. It's not like they had two Elder Wands. Dumbledore had whatever his wand was he got from Ollivander. So how do you beat the Elder Wand with a regular wand?
But wait though,
He didn't kill Grindelwald.
wait though, but if he stole it and did not beat his previous master in a duel and stole it, I mean, yeah.
What?
That okay, but again, see, this is what Harry Potter these days for fixing. Hopefully, it fixes shit up later. But again, if Grindelwald stole the wand, right?
I got that part.
And then Grindelwald did not defeat its true master, true owner of the wand, right? Then again, it's like its allegiance is to, or again, I don't know, because there's so many plot holes. Because again,
let me look something up. Hold on. So, all right. So, Mikhail Gregorovich, who probably sold Grindelwald his very first wand, became the owner and master of the Elder Wand sometime in the 1900s. He was an expert wand maker and became quite knowledgeable about wand lore. He eventually came into possession of the Elder Wand, but through unknown means. So we don't even know how Gregorovich got the damn thing, right? Like, so if Gregorovich, he stole it from Gregorovich. So according to what that just said that Gregorovich was the owner of the Elder Wand. All he did was steal it from him. So then you telling me that the wand's allegiance changed to Grindelwald. So if it did, that means it's like, because it took Dumbledore 45 minutes to beat him, which in duel time, that's a long time. Like, it took him 45 minutes to beat him. So would the wand have worked as well as it did for him if it wasn't allegiant to him in that battle? Because if that's the case, if the wand's not listening to him, Dumbledore should have just mopped him up like how Harry did Voldemort at the end. You see what I'm saying?
That's what you're saying, but I mean, same time, though, even though with Voldemort having the Elder Wand and Harry and him fighting, hell, even Harry was still kind of like getting mopped up a little bit before the last final at the end.
Dude, Harry was always getting mopped up.
But you know what I mean, though. You mean but I mean, it took some time till the end to where it's like finally last final bow. You know what I mean?
It says, Albus blocked Grindelwald's killing curse against Credence, something that was retconned, the killing curse rules. Okay, so apparently at the time, the Avada Kedavra, you could just block it, like you do anything else, which kind of defeats the purpose of the fucking spell. But okay.
Kind of also defeats the purpose of having a unstoppable and like wand too. So
well, the Elder Wand doesn't make you better at killing people, though.
It'd be better practice.
But it says Albus blocked Grindelwald's killing curse against Credence. And if you ain't seen Secrets of Dumbledore, I ain't gonna tell you what ends up happening there.
Yeah, I seen the end of that movie.
You did see it? I don't think Aaron saw it. It says, and the two did duel. However, Albus got the Elder Wand by disarming Grindelwald in their 1945 duel. Okay, so fighting him head up, power for power, Dumbledore would have lost because his regular wand couldn't outdo the strength of the Elder Wand. But he must have got him when he was lagging, wasn't looking, hit him with a quick Expelliarmus. It disarmed him. Boom. Now Dumbledore is okay. That makes more sense. Because I'm thinking they in like a fight to the death, and I'm like, there's no way this regular wand is finna outpower. You know what I'm saying? Like it just like this, like the old ass like push mowers that ain't even got a motor. That is not finna outmow the grass or like one of them driving boards where you be doing donuts and shit in the front yard. Like it's not about to outdo it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like the little water guns you get at the dollar store is not about to outdo Super
The
Soaker,
hose.
Super Soaker, yeah, like the Super Soaker 9000 that they just made. That you don't even put water in this one. You put ice cubes in this bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It
you know what I'm
turns
saying?
it into water.
Yeah, like so it was just something that I was, I've always wondered because if it looks like Expelliarmus has to be used unless unless you flat out kill the person, but that's not always the case. Here's the question. Voldemort killed Snape and the allegiance didn't change, I guess because Snape wasn't the owner of the wand. Because I was gonna say, I started thinking about it before I said it. Why is it that when the stranger killed Antioch, he became the owner? Like killed him, slit his throat, not like just gave him a quick stab and took the bit. No, he didn't give him one of the shape. He didn't give him one of the Michael Myers like 1, 2, shut your ass up and then I'm gone. Like he didn't give him one of them. Like slit my man's throat, like he did in Halloween 2 with the scalpel, and he just pulled up. Like that's how he did.
Maybe he slit his throat and then be like, oh shit, I forgot to duel this guy. Put it back in his hand and then he,
I don't know why that's funny to me, but
because I mean he's a mastermind. And he's
well, again, it may not be just defeating him in a duel. It could be like killing the person too. You know what I mean?
No, because if that's that's not the case.
Hey man, what you need to do is you need to talk to your best friend, J.K. Rowling, and ask her, hey, where are the answers to these fucking plot holes?
I can't.
I feel like she's trying to also be like,
like in the media, it's not where she needs to be right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't say
I mean, goddamn, George Lucas, he made a foundation and he stuck with the foundation.
Look how well that turned out for him.
Until Disney got a hold of it, and Disney's like, hey, we're gonna put this here, we're gonna put that here. Hey, you can stab in the stomach, no problem. We're gonna heal you with force heal. You know what I mean? Disney fucked it all up, but George Lucas had a fucking rhythm of what's supposed to happen. See, J.K. Rowling took notes from George Lucas. Just say.
So, Aaron, how you doing tonight, bro?
I mean, I guess better than that.
Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like since it's all of our stream, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the other guests on. Like,
there's gonna be plot holes in
the fuck is he talking about?
Everything. Everything.
And you talking about J.K. Rowling should have took notes from George Lucas. Didn't you not say 2 weeks ago that she copied him like on everything when she made Harry Potter? You just said
that's kind of what I was thinking of the
like, but again, I mean,
Aaron.
She can take notes, but as soon as it's like carbon copy, but then I mean, like, because I mean, like, people didn't like, from what I've been told about Star Wars fans that are like older than myself, they didn't like the fact that it was midichlorians, that it was something
something that you couldn't see that made Anakin that strong.
Yeah, it made the Force less
answer me this
a
question.
force.
Answer me this question real quick, and this isn't necessarily a George Lucas like plot hole or anything like that. How are you that strong and you still a bitch?
Oh wow,
Anakin.
Wow.
I mean, Anakin.
Oh, I was like, I thought you were coming after his shape. I was like, fuck, what?
We know how he do. We know how he do black people with the exit button. I ain't going there. Like,
what do you mean?
I mean, Anakin was just as arrogant, not just as, but he was arrogant like how Voldemort was, and that ultimately like led to their downfalls. Like, that's,
you don't think Voldemort's more like
but that's where it always amounts to be, because if you always look at it, right, everybody who wants more power, I mean, but if you look at it, right, Voldemort wanted more power because he wanted to be, rule everything, rule the Muggles, he wanted to be a god, right?
Fear of death.
Voldemort didn't want to die. Yeah.
Anakin was more of wanting to save the ones he loved, especially Padme. We have visions about Padme, about her dying in childbirth and everything else. It wasn't more like technically it was like a selfish thing because he didn't want her to die like his mother died.
Sure.
So of course he had to do what he had to do to try to save her, which Palpatine said, "Oh, we can, he told a story about Darth Plagueis the Wise and everything else, and hey, you can save your wife from death and all this like that." Basically,
And the fucked up part is he killed Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, and he killed our Plagueis. But again, that's this between Voldemort and Anakin, because no matter what, Anakin was always there. Even when Anakin lost Obi-Wan and became Darth Vader, right? There was always, a thing where Anakin and Darth Vader were always kind of butting heads a little bit. Especially like you see, like if you guys seen the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, where Ahsoka and Anakin are meeting each other, right? And Darth Vader, they're fighting, right? And then Ahsoka like cuts his fucking like half his mask off.
Yeah,
and then he's like Ahsoka, Ahsoka, and she's like, like Master, he's like, I won't leave you, not this time. And he had this moment to where Anakin went back, or Darth Vader went back to Anakin, but then Darth Vader took over again, and he's like, well, then you will die. So Anakin was always in there, trying to, in a way, like kind of stop Vader, but Vader was just too powerful and kept Anakin at bay.
You keep saying that Vader was just too powerful.
Until you get to Return of the Jedi, to where his own son was about to die, and he's like, Darth Vader died right then and there, and Anakin came back and then picked up Palpatine. Like,
you're saying that like he had split personality or something. No, he was always the same person. What I'm asking is, like, because I don't know what like the age is, but I'm saying his whole like it's almost like he just had teenage angst. Like, Obi-Wan, you never let me listen to my radio station when we're in the ship. Like, that's just how he acted all the time, man. And it's like,
hey, but if you
wait.
I know that.
You didn't let me cut you off. Wait, you didn't let me cut you off. Like, when you can't go to the master and ask for his advice, then he tell you something, you be like, no, fuck what that nigga said. I'm gonna go over here. Like, why did you ask?
But see, Donnie, here's the thing. You can. It just makes you look bad.
Like, but I'm saying, but why even do that though? Like, because
Anakin wanted to hear what he wanted to hear.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that is my point. Like, people, you ask somebody, should you do this or should you do that? But you've already made up your mind. You just want somebody to back up your dumbass thought so you could think that is right. Like, that's what I'm saying. He looked at everything as if everybody was against him. All Yoda said was the boy too old to be trained. Like, I mean, and who would know? Like, Yoda, other than Yoda, he's at least 2,000 years old. Like, who would know better? But I'm just saying, I don't understand why Anakin was just so whiny, so bitchy. Then it's like, as soon as he turned to Vader, all that stopped. And that could have been because he had, this faith in Palpatine, that Palpatine was going to help him, the whole thing with Padme. But with her dying, it's like he still just stayed the same way. There was less bitching, I guess, because he's a machine now. So maybe that's got the little tinge to it. But
that, and he wasn't turned down. Like, he wasn't dismissed from the get-go, saying like, oh yeah, he's too old to be trained, rather than like, oh no, it's like you want to learn.
I guess
he did say that. Mace Windu said it right then and there. He said
no. He was saying that, like, he was saying when Palpatine took him, Palpatine didn't say, "Oh, he's too old to be this or that." You know what I mean? He just immediately,
take you as you are.
Yeah, like that's what he was saying.
Well, yeah,
which is true.
But again, though, I mean, if, like I say, even with Star Wars, right? Because you see, in the way you look, you can see the downfall of the Jedi. The Jedi had their own. They have their rules where you can't fall in love, you can't this, none of this shit, right?
That's never explained in the movie, but yeah.
But after all that, if Yoda would have talked to Anakin, found out about this, or even if Anakin would have told Obi-Wan this, right? I think they would have been. Again, if Anakin would have told Yoda or Obi-Wan Kenobi about Padme, and then being together and having children together. If he would have said this, I do believe that Yoda and Obi-Wan would try to help Anakin as best they could. Been there for everything else. Again, Obi-Wan was, even though Obi-Wan loved Anakin, was like a brother to him, everything else, Obi-Wan was still part of the Jedi Code. And Anakin kind of was, in a way, like Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn believed more in the Force than being part of the Order. You know what I mean? Because again, that's why Qui-Gon Jinn was always more the Force. The Force controls us. We should let the Force be with us. Let the Force guide us, not us guide the Force, and then be in politics. That's basically what it was. And then, of course, the Jedi has, you can't fall in love. None of this, none of that. You can't have that. But again, you have Ki-Adi-Mundi over there who had all his fucking wives and shit, being like a player. So it was why is he getting them? But of course, it was like a species thing, right? But again, if they would have known that Anakin was in love and then this stuff was going on, and Anakin told Obi-Wan this and, talked to Yoda, there'd probably been a way to keep Anakin from going to the dark side. Like, well, hey, let's go to the, to the Masters only. We could do this thing. But again, they didn't do that. He didn't do that, because again, he still wanted to be a Jedi. And if they found out, it could have been like fear, like, hey, well, you're out because you got a kid, whatever. You're married. No, you're out, right? So again, Palpatine was with Anakin even when he was a child. And growing up in a Jedi Order, he was always there. He was always mending Anakin, being that father figure for Anakin, being there, always being supportive for Anakin. Even when Anakin slaughtered all these fucking Tusken Raiders, he was like, "It's okay, Anakin. Hey, they killed your mother, Anakin. It's totally fine what you did. You know what I mean? It was always, molding Anakin to what he needed to be, what he needed Anakin to be.
Yeah, he never shied him away. That's
it. But even when you look at Mace Windu always did not care for Anakin that much. They were always butt heads. They were always having this. And even, huh?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I didn't. I guess when I plugged my headphones back in, it didn't connect.
I said, but Mace Windu was always like that. And of course, Mace would never trusted Anakin.
Yeah.
And then there was that tension between Mace Windu and Anakin. Yeah. And that's the thing though. It was always like that. And he was not born in a Jedi Order like the rest of them were. He came in later on when he was already like 10 years old. When every other Jedi that goes to the Order is basically an infant.
Yeah.
They get brought to the Order. So Anakin was not. So there's stuff in the in like comic books and books where Anakin was always getting picked on because he was a slave, he was this, he was that, But even though he was more powerful than all of them because he surpassed them all in the training and everything else. So you have to look at it that way. To where even though Anakin had that rough childhood being a slave and everything, and all this like that, never had anything, finally become a Jedi, his dream, everything else, right? To save the galaxy, to do all this, right? And it's like, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. But loving Padme and having a kid with her, or kids in a way where you only was one kid though. But again, losing your mother, then finding out your wife is pregnant, and then
what makes it worth being a Jedi then?
Yeah, and then he's that vision of her dying, like he had with his mother. You're going to have this is going to be where he wants more, because to save the ones he loves, he wants more. He wants more power. He wants more of this, and that's the way it always kind of started. Because once his mother died. Oh, Obi-Wan is jealous. He's holding me back. He's, he won't let me do this. If I was more powerful, I could have saved my mother. I could have done this. I could have done that. The whining thing always comes into play with that situation. But again, also too, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't that much older in a way than Anakin.
He was forced to be a master when he was.
He was child trying to.
Again, but if you look at it, right, if Qui-Gon Jinn would have stayed alive and trained
Anakin would have never became Vader. Exactly. That's why I realized that's why the song is called Duel of the Fates. Because literally the fate of Anakin rests in the balance of who dies here, Maul or Qui-Gon Jinn. They both do. Well, Maul doesn't die, but fate, the fate of this young boy rests in the balance of. Yeah, you got this older person, but I'm saying just because he butted heads with Mace Windu, doesn't mean that had Mace been the one to pull his leash back, that he wouldn't have eventually got it. Problem I have is just because I don't know all of the other lore and stuff in between with the books and all that stuff. I don't know all that stuff, so I'm unaware of what exactly having. The movies, particularly Attack and Revenge, just make him look like a bitch and make it just look like he crying about every little thing. Even as a kid in Phantom Menace, he didn't seem as whiny as he did in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And that's my only problem with him. Don't get me wrong. I think that came across as I don't like the character. I mean, I'm not a fan of Anakin, but I do love the character of Vader. There's this tragedy about it. You know what I mean? It's almost like a Shakespearean play. There's this tragedy about it, and it's like the same way that Anakin had no love. There's the parallel. Voldemort was born under a condition where he could never feel love. You know what I mean? And there you go. There's this tragedy. You think if Voldemort was able to feel love or some kind of emotion, he might not have been as evil as he was. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have been the character he was, but it might not have been
he may never have been evil. You know what I mean? That's the thing, though. If he felt love and everything else, he may never have been evil.
There you go. And my thing, and don't get me wrong, I feel like once it was too late, that's when he understood. But at that same point, he was already getting older. I'm talking about Anakin here. You know what I mean? Because once he becomes Vader, and then Palpatine is doing all this shit to him, and like Palpatine made the suit weak to Force lightning in case Vader ever got out of line, he could just shock his ass and kill him.
Oh yeah,
because of how strong he was, right? But I feel like it was as he got older, as we all do. You know what I mean? Everything, hindsight's always 20/20. You always do something, and you might have instant karma to be like, "Oh, that wasn't the right thing to do." You know what I mean? That always happens. But you can see. I guess that's why I like him better as Vader, because you can see as he's aging, he's starting to figure out like, "Shit, I'm on the wrong side." You know what I mean? My son isn't gonna trust me because he's not gonna trust me because like I'm evil to him. You know what I mean? I killed his father. You know what I mean? Not knowing that it's the same person yet. I killed his dad. He ain't gonna trust me. Whatever. But you kind of see like by the time Return happens. By the time he gets to Return of Jedi, Luke is telling him like, he's like, I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate. And he looked him dead in the face and he said, "It's too late for me, son," because he knew at that point. What I'm gonna tell Palpatine? Oh, hey, like, thank you for everything you did, but I want to roll with my son now. I appreciate that. Palpatine was finna hit him with that. Anakin. He was finna hit him with that, and he was gonna hit him with that slow ass.
Dr. Evil turn in the chair.
Anakin, like. You've joined the dark side. You can't leave. Like, that's what he was gonna do to him. So I think Vader, there was that fear. That's kind of just compared like to the Voldemort thing. Voldemort didn't have anybody higher than him. If Voldemort had existed at a time with Grindelwald, he wouldn't have been what he was, because Grindelwald was already that and more. Like Grindelwald would have beat Voldemort. Not on the dark magic part, but he was just a better duelist. You know what I mean? He didn't let not that Grindelwald wasn't arrogant, but he didn't let like petty shit like, oh, there's this child that I don't like. I have to dedicate my entire life to this one thing. He didn't let shit like that stop him. My goal is to enslave all the non-magic people. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna go do this. Grindelwald got shit done. Voldemort was off doing dark magic. You know what I mean? So he might beat him on that front, but otherwise he couldn't. And I'm saying,
right,
when you see that, that's why you see that parallel between Vader but I'm saying also how Vader was kind of scared of the Emperor because of what he could do to him, or just I can't turn on my hold on, because of the whole rule of two thing, like the rule of two and all that stuff, and Vader was scared. He didn't want to turn on his master. Either it was fear that Palpatine would fuck him up, because he probably would, or he just didn't want to do that because he respected him that much. The problem being, Palpatine had no problems with doing that same thing to Anakin in a minute. Because remember, he was like that scene. He's like, you want this, and then Luke turns around to the window, turns back around, grabs his lightsaber, and then boom, you see like the red and green cross. Epic scene, right? But he's still sitting there. He's like laughing because he knows, like, oh, I'm gonna get the young boy to kill his father. Then he gonna be my apprentice because I'm never gonna die. So I'm just gonna keep killing these apprentices. They're never gonna try me because I'm the emperor. But I'm saying, there's like a checks and balance system. Had there been that for Voldemort, he had nobody that he had to answer to. So his whole thing was, I'm just gonna get all the power I want, and everybody's gonna fear me because there is nobody that I answer to. He was only scared of Dumbledore, I think, because I think he knew Dumbledore and knew him from when he was a child, and almost that he knew that Dumbledore was ashamed of what he had become. You know what I mean? I think he kind of resented Dumbledore for that fact. Like, damn, nigga, why didn't you die before I turned into this? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how he looked at him. But I'm saying there was no like checks and balances system for Voldemort. He got to do whatever he wanted to do. Vader didn't get to do that. And because of the rule of two thing, they couldn't just bring Luke on. But Shape, how come Luke could be in a ship on the other side of the galaxy and Vader could be like, come to me, my son. Sense him. Leia standing right there. He don't know that's his daughter.
Because if you look at it, right, Leia was more hidden, but again, Leia has never used her Force abilities until
not there.
I know, but not there. But again, Vader is reaching out to Luke, not. You have to basically say that, like, reaching out to me again. Like when Obi-Wan reached out to Luke, how come Leia never sensed it? It's the thing. If a Force user is reaching out to that one person, the other one ain't going to feel it. You know what I mean? Just like if a Force person like reaches out to like a certain person, like a Jedi reaches out to a Jedi, a Sith ain't going to try to sense that. You know what I mean? It's like specifically for that one person. You know what I mean?
But can somebody who's not Force sensitive, if they can sense it, they can't respond though. So what would be the purpose of that? Like if Luke was sending, like how he did to Han and Han, first of all, to Lando and them when he was hanging from the bottom of the.
He did. It was Leia.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So he sent. But I'm saying at that point we don't know that she's Force sensitive. We know now, of course, but at the time we didn't know that she was Force sensitive. So if she's just normal, like Lando, Chewie, so forth, how does she like receive that? And if he was able to do that, then shouldn't Vader have been able to reach out to her, or something in the Force would have been like, because it wasn't until he was like, your thoughts betray you. You have a twin sister. Like, but I feel like he should have known before that. Because like Luke went to Cloud City to save them. So why didn't Vader sense that in that fight? Why did it not happen until Return?
Because again, Luke did not know that Leia was a sister until we found out until Return of the Jedi.
Right, but I'm saying they're still both his children.
I mean,
you would think he would be able to sense them because they're his. That's what I'm thinking of it as. But you are a traitor and a member of the Rebel Alliance. Take her away. Standing right there, no connection whatsoever. And then Luke is on the ship with them, I think, in Return of the Jedi, and he's like, I'm endangering the mission. I shouldn't have come. You know what I mean? And they like weren't even near them yet, and he was already like sensing it. Even when he's fixing his new lightsaber, and I've always wondered if his green crystal is Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon's, but it's not Qui-Gon's. So he's in. It's like a deleted scene. He's in that cave and he's fixing the lightsaber. You hear Vader, Luke. Like, ain't no telling how far Jabba's palace is from, wherever the second Death Star was, and he's reaching him that far away. You would just think. But I guess maybe the thing with Leia is just because he didn't know that there were twins.
Exactly, because again, he didn't even know Luke was his son in like A New Hope, right? Mm-hmm. So when he said, even Vader says the Force is strong with this one.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But then in The Empire Strikes Back, Palpatine says, hey, the young rebel destroyed the Death Star. I have no doubt this is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker. Whoa. How can that be possible? Search your feelings. You know it to be true. And then that's when it's like, okay, well, I have a son. And then of course that's all it was. That's all I mentioned. That's made aware to Darth Vader that he had a son.
But did he think that Padme didn't have the babies? The baby?
Yes.
So he thought she died and never had the baby.
Yes, because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, you see her with her belly still pregnated, and thought that the babies died with her when she died.
How would Anakin have known that though? Because he was getting worked on.
But you realize this whole again because that's how they made it, because both Obi-Wan and
Yoda,
Senator Organa made it look, especially with Senator Organa, he made it look the way that she died with the babies or with the baby. They didn't know it was twins. They did not know they were they did not know they were having twins.
That doesn't answer my question though, or maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Like I'm saying, how did Anakin or Palpatine see her that way to say, "Oh, she was still pregnant when she died, so the baby didn't make it"? Like that's what I'm saying. Like how would they have known that?
It could have been off of what Senator Organa said, like, "Oh, hey, But again, no one knew. Well, again, no. Okay, I see. This is the thing though. No one knew she was pregnant besides Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Palpatine, right? But no one ever said anything about babies being born. They would, if somebody baby was being born, like, oh, hey, Padme had a baby or whatever, or babies. You know what I mean? There was nothing said. And again, that's the whole thing. So I mean, who to say that Palpatine didn't visit the grave wherever saw the belly, so having pregnant or whatever, didn't know anything. You know what I mean? No one knows. But again, that's what it is. If she would have babies, someone would say, hey, she had babies, or hey, even the father, even the grandfather, Padme's mom and dad would have had their grandchildren. They didn't know they had grandchildren.
Do you think that he transferred Padme's life force to Anakin? Anakin was still dying at that point. I see a lot of people say that he transferred her life force to him, which is why he had that little smile on his face, because he was like, in your anger, you killed her. Like he blamed that shit on Vader again. And then, he gets that little smile on his face when he rips himself off the table.
No, because that was already explained that she died basically. She lost the will to live and stuff like that, and she died.
So she lost the will to live. I don't understand it. She just lost the will to live. Like that was never explained. That's what I'm saying. If it goes deeper, like more in depth in the book of it. Then,
the book was a lot deeper last year. Yeah, read the book, man. But I heard there was a lot of shit in the book.
That makes sense.
But anyway, guys, we kind of went over. Went over an hour, but. That's what I did with Deathly Hallows and Harry Potter talk. It'll be missed. But I mean, who knows? We'll probably have Harry Potter talk again, because soon I guess HBO is coming out with the Harry Potter series. I believe it is.
Yeah.
So hey, we may do a live. We may do a live. We'll talk about basically our thoughts about the show and everything else too.
They said their goal was to go 10 years with that. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because they already stretched out one movie into two that it didn't need to be. If the Order of the Phoenix was 860 pages long and that movie wasn't two movies, then why did Deathly Hallows need to be two? And that book was actually shorter than the Order. I never understood that part, other than the greed of money. But I'm saying
it was money. They had to do money. That's what it was.
What I'm saying was the HBO, their thing was, we're gonna do each season will be 1 year at Hogwarts. So season 1 is just Sorcerer's Stone. Season 2 is just Chamber of Secrets. But then why do you need 10? What would the other 3 even be? You know what I mean? Unless you're putting in all kind of other shit that ain't got nothing to do with.
Or they could child. First
don't
child,
think-
though, they can do whatever.
I don't know what they're going, but I seen that announcement. But it was on like the HBO like Instagram page where they were saying it. The plan
Or
was
who
20
knows? Maybe they're going to do like a prequel, like the first 3 years, and the next one's Harry Potter.
I guess, but you got Fantastic Beasts kind of doing that. I know what you mean though. This will be more. It'll be a prequel, but it'll be more modern time. Like maybe what Lily and James, like what happened with them before
Yeah.
they went into hiding or something. Yeah, I know what you mean. I appreciate it, man. Like it's always fun. Like like I said, man, Harry Potter changed my life. I mean, I know it, like you said, it's the Star Wars thing, and I know some shit about Star Wars too. I think Empire Strikes Back is the best out of them, but I don't know, man. My grandma took me to see Harry Potter when I was like 6 years old, whatever it was, and it just changed my life, man. I ain't seen nothing captivating. Something about a little gold ball with wings on it moving around like captivated a 6-year-old me, and a big ass snake or whatever it was, man. I just thought it was so cool, man, and it just changed my life, like Halloween did for you, and like at one point, like comic books and stuff did, like with Aaron. It just man. So like to talk about it, talk about all of them and stuff. It's just something that I'd look even more forward to, like each week and stuff. So I appreciate you talking about it. Not that there aren't a bunch of obscure horror movies that we could have been talking about these last 7-8 weeks, but it's fun to like mix it up and talk about that stuff. So I appreciate it, man, for sure.
And then of course, remember, next week is going to be the last live of the year. We're going to do top 10 Christmas movies. Like I said, it'll be the last live until next year, pretty much.
So, do I make a list of like my top 10 like hood movies? Because I've never seen a Christmas movie a day in my life.
What?
I'm being dead serious.
Then maybe you should watch
Claus,
some.
The Grinch.
Well, I of course I've seen The Grinch, I've seen The Polar Express, but I mean, I guess me and Anthony was just talking about this the other day. I'm not the dude that's like, oh, that's a Christmas movie. Yeah, let me watch that. I've never been like that. Like, I can't stand Home Alone. Like, and I don't know. I've never been. So I mean, I'm saying I would show up with no list. Like, I don't have a list that I could give you, because around this time of year, like I would just have a list of like shit that either I don't watch all the time or have never seen to appease the homework. And I ain't want to do that to you.
You could check out Violent Night with David Harbour. That's a hilarious and awesome Christmas movie.
What's going
Um,
Wait.
I ended up renting it on YouTube.
I think it's on Peacock.
Of course.
It's on Peacock or Amazon Prime. One of the two.
And I've seen like Black Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What have you seen any horror film Christmas movies?
Just said I've seen Black Christmas.
If you've seen, I mean, you could do any Christmas movie, like horror film Christmas movie. I know you saw Gremlins.
What are our so between now and then, like, hit us and tell us like what the like parameters are, what you're qualifying as a Christmas movie.
It's got Christmas like Die Hard, Gremlins,
Friday After Next.
Friday After Next.
So if I say Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I don't want to hear shit. There's Christmas in there. Like,
sure, why not?
It's not a Christmas movie, but there's Christmas happening. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, what are the parameters? Like,
well, like a Christmas movie type. I mean, like I said, Friday After Next was a Christmas movie.
Yeah. See, when you said that, I thought you was just talking
Home for the Holidays. Ain't that was a Christmas movie?
What was it?
Home for the Holidays.
Yeah, like when you said that, I was thinking you meant specifically like Home Alone or like Elf or something.
No, all types, all Christmas movies, all of them.
The toy. You ever seen the toy?
Your top, yeah, like your top 10 Christmas movies. My top 10. Aaron's top 10. Brady's top 10.
We should get Anthony to join us. Have you seen The Toy with Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason? Have y'all seen that movie before?
I'm not.
I don't know if I would call it a Christmas movie, but it's around Christmas time when Jackie Gleason, he's rich and he buys his son. His son wants a toy, but not the toy he was pointing at in the store. He was pointing at this man, and the man was like the janitor cleaning up the store. He wanted this man to be a toy. So a lot of people didn't like to, they thought that was kind of like slavery because he's like buying this guy to play with his son and amuse his son or whatever. So a lot of people didn't like it because of that. But anything with Richard Pryor is fucking hilarious. So, and it takes place around Christmas time. Came out like 1982.
Okay. But it's going to think about it, and then we'll get to maybe let's say we'll get to the point where towards the close to the end of the week, we'll go ahead and figure it all out. And then you guys got anything else guys say before we head out?
Oh, just thanks for having good talking with everybody.
Yeah, I love for the record, Aaron's name is not I got nothing at the end. I think that's hilarious that you put that.
I tried to think of something clever, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, Reese's Lupin hit me like at the very last second because I was like, I already did Trill Weasley. It was like, so I was like, all right, what else could I do? I was gonna put Scary Potter because the end, but I was like, let me go with Reese and Lupin. But more guitar covers coming. Check it out. You know how YouTube is, man. They don't like to tell you that people have uploaded videos and stuff. So it's Donnie Horton Jr. on YouTube. Check me out. King Donatello on Instagram. And on my page, you will also find these two gentlemen, both with beards, and I don't have one. So, not happy about that. But as always, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. Like 7 down, 7 up, 7 down. So here we are.
Thank you, everybody. Let's see, guys. Please go follow them, and also please go follow basically Brittany on her Instagram and YouTube channel and her TikTok. Like I said, she could not be with us tonight, but it says she always here with the spirit, and hopefully she'll be with us next week. So, and then, but again, so probably won't be no videos uploaded. I already did a review video for the Winston Scale resurrection figure. And depends on what I get for Christmas. I might do a review on that or talk about that whenever I get for Christmas.
Did you guys already do the unboxing of was it the protein powders? You did that already? Because I don't get any notifications, bro. I got you checked for I get none.
No, we didn't do that. We didn't get a chance to do
that. So you're not gonna do it at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Yeah, kind of. So, okay, we were going to do it, and it was like we got sidetracked, and I was like, forget it. I was like, already opened it. If we already drank it, so I'm like, I'm not doing a video for it. Forget it.
Fair enough.
It happens. But that's pretty much it, guys, for tonight. So thanks again for you guys always coming on. It's always a pleasure with you two. You guys always making fun. You guys always pick my brains and stuff like that. Always trying to give me riled up sometimes, but it is what it is.
That's why you love us. And
that's correct.
And the best thing I can say is, what did he say? He said, happiness can be found in the darkest of times. One only remembers to turn on the light.
Damn Skippy. But you guys have a good night, and then we'll see you guys next week. You have a good one, and always remember, everybody, the shape is always at Hogwarts, in the Chamber of Secrets. Always
in the Chamber of Secrets.
Everybody.